Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. Just read a little article. It's posted on The Hill, and the date of it is the 11th of January 2016. The title, Paul, making reference to Rand Paul. Paul, Cruz is a natural-born Canadian. Now, I can understand why the senator from Kentucky would be a little bit upset. And he's on the second-tier stage on the 14th of January for the presidential debate. And he shouldn't be. And the reason that he shouldn't be is, as I have said in other videos, there's 4 individuals on the first tier that shouldn't be on the first tier. They shouldn't be anywhere. The senator from Florida. And then you got this guy, the senator from Texas. And then you got this guy. The governor from Florida. And then you got the governor from Ohio. You know who they are. I've spoken about each one of those countless times. But in case you don't know, I'm referring to Marco Rubio from Florida, Ted Cruz from Texas, the Jeb Bush from Florida, and last but not least, John Kasich from Ohio. They shouldn't be on the stage. In either case, the article goes on to say, Senator Rand Paul, Kentucky Republican, is calling 2016 White House rival Senator Ted Cruz a natural-born Canadian, and saying the Supreme Court may need to weigh in on his eligibility for the presidency. Quote, I think without question everybody would accept that. You know, Cruz is a natural-born Canadian, that he was naturally born there, Paul said in an interview on Fox News on Monday. The question is, can you be a natural-born Canadian and a natural-born American at the same time? And here's sort of what troubles me with these individuals in positions of power. I'm not in a position of power. I know the answer to that question. And so do you if you can watch my videos. The answer is no. The reason it's no is although Canada now recognizes dual citizenship, they didn't when Teddy was born in Calgary, Alberta. They do recognize it now. But the United States never has recognized dual citizenship. So I wish folks would sort of wake up to that. And he's not alone. The Donald is confused on that point as well, because he's made mention to the fact that Ted has dual citizenship. No, he doesn't. He can't have. America doesn't recognize it. In either case, then he goes on to say, but I think the courts will have to decide it, because it's never really been decided. Well, that's not true. Minor versus Hepperset in the 1800s, it was decided. And it was made very clear, born on American soil and the bloodline coming from 2 American citizens. So it was decided. Again, you've got these people that are senators and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. The Kentucky senator clarified that he wasn't calling into question Cruz's citizenship. Well, he should, because he can't have both, saying that the constitutional requirements for holding executive office are more ambiguous than those for becoming a citizen. The only part of the Constitution that says natural born is regard to the president. Why do you think that is? Huh? Even Buddy would understand the reasoning behind that and the logic behind that. Even my dog would understand that. So it appears to be a unique qualification. Yeah, for a reason. They didn't want anyone that has an allegiance to another country, like the chosen one, to Kenya, to be in that position. I mean, sometimes I wonder how dumb these people really are. Anyway, it goes on to say that I think the Democrats are going to force it to be adjudicated, and I think the Supreme Court is going to have to decide it, he added. Cruz was born in Canada to an American mother. We don't even know if that's true. From what I've read, she was on the Canadian voting list, so who the hell knows? And a Cuban father, leading GOP rival Donald Trump to raise questions about his eligibility for the White House. Actually, I got to take credit for that. And if you watch my videos, you know why I just made that statement. Representative Ellen Grayson of Florida has also vowed to file a lawsuit challenging Cruz's eligibility if the senator and Iowa front runner, well, he's not the front runner from what I understand, wins the GOP nomination. Cruz made the case for his eligibility for president on Sunday, saying any legal question had been settled. Well, that's like me saying, I made the case, okay? Prove it. Huh? How could it have been settled if the Supreme Court, according to what Rand Paul said, hasn't even looked at it? And again, Minor versus Hepperset did look at it. American, natural born on American soil to two citizen parents. Nothing else makes any sense. Absolutely nothing. And what this, again, for the, I don't know how many thousandths time, reconfirms, Obama is a usurper. He was never eligible to hold office. History, if there is a history, and if we're not all speaking Arabic in the future, which I suspect we very well might be, will laugh at the lunacy of the American people to have allowed this insanity to take place by putting a radical, extremist, Islamic, Sunni, crack-smoking, homosexual, mujrim into the White House. You sort of know what I think. You know why I think what I think, don't you?